Hello and a very warm welcome to you. It's my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of Editors Forum. I am RITA, OMODIA, and of course on this program we get to discuss front burners, topical issues, headline stories of the week, and of course stories that are affecting the nation. And we do know that one particular issue affecting the nation is the topic of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is ravaging the world globally. Of course, I'm not alone on today's edition of the show. I have with me Dr. Dio Kaude, a political technocrat. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
My pleasure being here. When you just mentioned the COVID-19 or 19 or whatever, my mind also went to, is it COVID 419?
we are saying that word, COVID-19. I know where you're hitting at. I know where you're getting to. But let's stick with 19. All right, we also have with us Ziggy Ibe, a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And I hope you've been staying safe so far.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Look at his face now.
He's looking well and fine, right?
No, yeah, I've been highly isolated.
He's the only person that Nigeria has been feeding.
I have been self-isolated.
The eBay I know is been feeding fat too.
I'll let you guys get back to it after the show. But let's get back to business now, Dio and Ziggy Ibe. Of course, we know lots of stories trended during the week, and of course, one of them was the appointment of Professor Ibrahim Gambari as the Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. We would recall that the former Chief of Staff, that is late Malam Abba Kyari, died on April 17, 2020 due to COVID-19 complications. And since then, the seat has actually been vacant. Of course, we also know that Ogun State, talking about COVID-19 matters, the lockdown has been extended there for 1 week. Meanwhile, in Lagos, there's a battle on social media, on Twitter, if the lockdown should continue or we should continue with the ease of the lockdown. We also have issues here in different states here. We know that in the northern states, Gambari and Zamfara, they have relaxed their lockdown and they have opened their churches and mosques, and that has caused lots of different reactions, even from the presidential task force. And we know that yesterday during the task force update, they talked about increasing the number of testing, which a lot of people have been advocating, so that we can know those who are positive and negative for the coronavirus. We also know that during the week, one major topical issue was the importation of the Madagascar cure. Well, let's take this breaker and see stories that made headlines during this week. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. You're still on to Editors Forum, exclusive to Galaxy Television. And those were some of the stories that made headlines during this week. Now, we'll start with political appointments there, as we know that President Muhammadu Buhari appointed Professor Gambari as the new Chief of Staff. Of course, Professor Agbola Ibrahim Gambari is 75 years old, and this was disclosed by the personal assistant to President Buhari on new media, Bashir Ahmad, via a tweet after the virtual Federal Executive Council FEC meeting on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. Now, the former Deputy Secretary General for the Department of Political Affairs. He's an indigene of Kwara State. He was appointed to replace the late Abba Kyari, who died on the 17th of April due to COVID-19 complications. Now, Gambari is currently the Special Advisor on the International Compact with Iraq and other issues for the Secretary General of the United Nations, and was the Minister of External Affairs between 1984 and 1985. before he became the chairperson of the African Union Commission as Joint African Union United Nations Special Representative for Darfur, effective in January 2010. Then on March 4th, 2013, Ibrahim Gambari was appointed the Pioneer Chancellor of the Kwara State University, the ceremonial head that presides over convictions to award degrees and also supports the visions of the institutions. Now, of course, we would say that is quite a remarkable profile list of our new Chief of Staff. Now, let's just look at the functions of the Chief of Staff. The Chief of Staff to the President is the senior operational member of the Office of the President of Nigeria. The Chief of Staff is the principal channel of communication between the President and the government. They also have responsibility for the official program and correspondence of the President. Through this role, the position wields considerable influence. Now, the functions of the Chief of Staff varies from administration to administration and depends not only on the qualities of the person appointed to the position, but also on the style and management philosophy of the incumbent president. So we would see the importance of the Chief of Staff's position to the President, and right now we have a new one appointed, Professor Ibrahim Agbola Gambari. Now, we've seen the profile of this person, but yeah, there's still controversies on the, would I say, morality or standards or disciplines of the person. Do you see an issue with that, Dayo Kayode?
Yeah, let me first of all, for the first time, and officially congratulate Professor Gambari Agbola on his appointment. There is no doubt about it that he has been appointed.
Okay.
And even when you look at the functions of the COS, there are two important things there that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
A link or the bridge, that's using my own words now, between the president and the government.
Yeah.
Perhaps people don't know that president is different from government. The president is there as the head of government. Then every other thing, every others that are under him are referred to as government, including state governments. You know, so it's supposed to be a kind of a link in between the two, you know, and to that extent, it needs to bring in somebody like his second function that I want to also talk about, that understands his philosophy.
Yes.
That will be able to channel his philosophy towards the activities of government, including for foreign affairs. So to that extent, I wouldn't blame the president for saying the other time that he will always appoint people that knows him, that understands him,
Definitely.
that he can always relate with. Two, the prof has a very good CV, no doubt about it. Very good CV.
Impeccable.
That can, yeah, impeccable, yeah. Thank you for that word, impeccable. That can make him, or supposed make him, to function well. But no doubt about it, a lot of criticism has been coming as regards him, you know, since the appointment on, I think on Tuesday or so.
May 13th. We made it official after the FEC meeting.
I think on Tuesday.
That was on Wednesday. Yeah, people knew about it on Tuesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Well, officially it was said on Wednesday.
Yeah,
On Wednesday, after the FEC meeting.
Yes.
You know, people have been criticizing. So people even talked about how he backbites the person that brought him into the foreign affairs, how he did this, how he did that. I wouldn't want to look at all those criticisms myself, because to me it's primordial. But let me look at his functionality, his effectiveness. Because at this time that Nigeria, what Nigeria is passing through economically, politically, and even internationally, it behoves of the president to work with somebody who has nothing less than 85% agility. Okay? Right. Somebody who has nothing less than 85% agility. Because a lot of issues will be arising as it has been arising, especially economically. You remember one time like that when we were talking about the economic team that the president just put together and I was trying to analyze them, including Rwani, Bismarck, Rwani, and all that. I said Bismarck, Rwani is somebody I've known for a while within the economic balance, and including even all those people on that committee. And I said something. I said, yes, they are experts. They have the technical know-how. But he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Whatever they are being asked to do is what they will do. Look at the way we are now. Even despite that there are people that are still supposed to be agile. Now, coming back to Professor Gambari again, with his credentials and every other thing, will he also be able to act according to his well-realized capacity, credentials?
No, but sorry, let me get you straight. When you're talking about agility, are you talking about the strength, talking about his age being 75 years, or you're saying him not being able to perform his duties due to the fact that he's still listening to the president?
As you are now, the way you were being active, let's say like 5 years ago, are you as active as that? In the next 10 years, you will be as active as the way you are now? No. What I'm saying is, all those, why have we been picking on people that have been there since 1966, since 1960? No. Let us look for young blood. That particular position, we see have people that will still present such credential, all right? But then we'll be less than that age. Maybe below 60,
okay,
or below 65.
I like the point you're driving at there, talking about young people taking up top positions. You also talked about the fact that this person is someone who should believe in Buhari's philosophy and who should be someone who has been close to him. Now, as a president, wouldn't you be, how I put it now, moved to pick someone who you have been close with, at least like an age range? Wouldn't you see it that way? I mean, if you're to pick an advisor, would you not pick someone who you have at least gone through administration with?
Look at it from this way. Between you and me, how old is our president? At his age, all right? At his age, there are certain things he will not be able to do. There are even forces of nature will not allow him. After a particular time, he will definitely doze off at his age. All right? At his age, he has a limit number of hours that he can work within 24 hours. He can never work 10 hours, no matter what. Okay? So also, you don't bring somebody that will be on the same platform with you, that will be on the same age balance with you. Look for somebody who is below, let's say 65. All right? There are a lot of people out there that are also from Dasem Ilori, or from Daura, or from Katsina, or from wherever, that are also close to you, that can also go along with your philosophy.
Okay.
You know, who will not slip away while you are trying. I mean, at that age, you are bound to be slippery.
I think I get your point, Dr. Dayo. You're talking about agility and strength. I want to give Ziggy his own chance. So, do you see agility, strength as part of a downside of flaws to this new chief of staff?
Okay, I want to congratulate the man on his appointment. Okay, as a COS.
Yeah.
No doubt he's highly certificated. Yeah, but beyond all this, I think what we need is ability to perform the job for which he is appointed. Okay, age, yes, like you say, performs a lot of functions in us, but our experience matters. When he was making reference, I thought he was going to side of experience.
Okay.
The man we are talking about is highly experienced. He has worked in various capacities, working from low ladder to the highest ladder, okay? And the job of chief of staff is no mean job. It is a gatekeeper to the president or to the governor, meaning that whoever that comes, or any link, appointments and all that, don't forget before now, the position or the office of chief of staff was not even known to Nigerians. Okay, it wasn't this as loud as it is until Abba Kyari became one. And why do we come to know about Abba Kyari? Because his duties are very, very loud and open. So he made that office very important and all-knowing to us. Meaning that that office is as important as the office of the president himself, because he performs some duties instead of the president. So getting Gambari, so many conjectures have come. People have said a lot of, I don't want to go into that because I've never known a saint in Nigeria. Okay? Including all of us here seated. We are not saints. So if you are talking about a better person out there, well, until you bring out the person, I don't know. Okay. But all I know is what I've read about this man, he is eminently qualified for that job. If you talk about age, yes, but then experience comes.
But I like
there are some positions that age doesn't matter. What matters is experience. Because if you take a younger person to such a position, so administrative, the person might fail. And I'm also, president has always said, I will always work with someone I know. So also any of us will do, because you don't work with an enemy. If you choose to do so, any day you are given a leadership position, choose an enemy and the person will mess you up. So you always work with someone who you trust, who you have confidence in, who could be your confidant, who knows so many things about you and you know so many things about the person. So no doubt the person will bring out the you in you.
I want to put it across quickly. You mentioned something that is very, very interesting. You said this chief of staff is supposed to be the gatekeeper.
He is a gatekeeper, listen, not supposed.
Wait now.
He is a gatekeeper and a goalkeeper.
Listen now, good. Yes. A goalkeeper and a gatekeeper.
Good.
And then who must have gotten experience.
Good.
Let me give you an
so not age
Wait now, not age. Let me give you an instance. Retired General Yakubu Gowon was a soldier, an experienced soldier. Will you want to tell me that as is now, he can lead a battalion to the war? That is one. Two, when
that becomes the definition of his job.
When a gatekeeper when a gatekeeper and a goalkeeper, why is checks of Chelsea? Why did he retire? It's because of age. Because of experience.
In Nigeria, we find younger people. In Nigeria, we find younger people who opportunities are given, and yet they fail.
Let's hear the Diokari.
We still have people that are about 60, 65 that has that experience. Do you understand? That can still be used. Because this position is a position, like you said, a goalkeeper and a gatekeeper that must not at any point in time slip off. Because the moment, look at what is happening in the world now.
Abakari didn't slip off.
A new captain is supposed to.
Abakari didn't slip off.
Is about to emerge in the world, all right, between China, America. So people are now looking at the potentials of Africa. And before the potentials of Africa can emerge, they are looking at Nigeria. And that means that whatever step Nigeria is taking, we have to be considerate of every variable that can move us forward. Any little mistake by somebody who is old, okay, can cause us a lot of things.
Okay, Diokari, you made a position where you are emphasizing more on agility and strength, and you are looking at experience.
Good.
So I have a question for you, Ziggy. While we're still looking at the importance of experience, you said something about a character. Don't you think that the person's character also matters in that particular position? Because we've had rumors of him negating the principles of democracy. So don't you see that as a problem, a character as a major part or principle or characteristics for this person in this position?
Looked at that. I said he is hammering on age. And I said age at this instant.
But you also talked about someone's character. You said you don't want to look at that particular issue right now. And
the condemnations I've read on social media, in so many media, is what I'm saying. Because people have condemned him to the abyss. That he was that, he was that, he was. And I say, I didn't want to look at that because he is not a saint.
But do you feel someone's character is important for a particular position as this?
And you still know that someone's character whom you've condemned ugly is a better person to someone else?
Is it good or not? Is someone's character, a good character, important for this position?
Which position are we talking about? Are you the person that is taking him? Is see him as a good person? Who are you to judge his character?
You know why?
That's what I'm saying.
People who they are governing do not have a stake in this matter to know that the person that they are putting as the chief of staff has a good character.
Does he condemn referendum? Does he condemn public opinion before getting the person? That's when it comes. When you begin to conduct public opinions, public input before it. And don't forget, this same man we're talking about was a character in international communities. He was pulled out from somewhere. He was an advisor for Darfur before he was brought out to work in Nigeria. Okay, so we are looking at who he is. That I said, it doesn't matter to who engaged him, because he trusted him. He believes he will deliver. So the blames now come on who gets him into the job if he didn't deliver. Okay? Because
if the people don't trust him, it doesn't matter.
If he doesn't trust who?
If the people don't trust me, the people that you're governing don't
trust. Who has Nigerian trusted before? Can you name one person Nigeria have trusted? Yeah. Who? Tell me.
Nigeria trusted Abiola. Nigeria trusted
the president?
Yeah, because
was he not the president? Okay, where's the trust? Where's the trust?
The so-called cabal.
So you can't gain the feelings of the many before anything goes. But then, in so many, like Trump is today, in Nigeria, what we do, we condemn Trump. But over there, so many people believe in Trump. Okay? So the character of a person depends on who is looking at the person.
Okay,
the person is equally good somewhere.
Okay, all right. We're still looking at the issue of Gambari's appointment there. Of course, you can be a part of this program by sending a message. Please SMS only to 081465887756. 081465887756. And we've also had messages coming up on this particular issue. I have a message here. Experience matters, character/attitude matters. There should be documented qualified age range.
Someone. Let me ask you. Are you
okay, she's asking what's the full age range for political appointments there. Okay, we also have another person. He said Abba Kyari did not sleep off when he was alive performing his duties. He didn't put his name there. He said Nigerians why are we worried? Let's wait for his performance. Adeyemo from Oshogbo. All right, we also have another one here, another question here. He said, my question is, why did the chief of staff act like the president? Because Dr. Dyer said chief of staff is an intermediate of the president and government. In the case of late Abba Kyari, he was actually acting as the Nigeria president. Second question, why often do we like picking an old man? Of course, that's what Dayo Kayode was talking about. But ZEB is talking about saying that the age range of this man does not matter.
Can I pick something from there? Don't forget, the position of this man we are talking about is not specified in the Constitution. It's not in the Constitution. Yaradua doesn't have chief of staff. Okay? So it is something, whether you like it or not. Do you understand? So it's not constituted.
Does it affect?
It's not a content in the Constitution. So you pick someone whom you feel that could work the way you want it. So the blame will now come to whoever that engages
Someone is saying something here. He said, still the same person. To be frank, leave his experience. We're in a computer age. We need someone with recent scientific and economic knowledge. That's what this other person is saying. That's Tabiti Abiodun sending us a message. Well, let's leave it at that. Let's not dwell too much on that. One of the messages was that let's wait to see his performance yet. While there's still criticisms and there's still commendations On the profile of this chief of staff, that is Ibrahim Agbola Gambari, well, Nigerians are waiting to see the impact he will have on governance. Of course, a lot of people are waiting to see a positive impact as the new chief of staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. Now, away from that now, let's go to health matters. Now, as I said earlier on, one of the major issues, apart from political issues, is the topic of the COVID-19 pandemic. And it is really ravaging the land, and we have always advocated that please do follow the safety and precautionary measures. Make sure you keep a distance. If you're in a crowded place, make use of your face mask to avoid the spread of the virus. Let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
We have to be strong, we have to be one, we can fight together. Mama and Papa, brother and sister, let us carry each other. Because if it affects one, if it affects you, all of us now one. Nah. So today, don't go talk tomorrow. Be your brother's keeper. We can stay alive, stay alive, stay alive, stay alive together.
Welcome back. You're still on to RITA's Forum exclusive to Galaxy Television, and the word on the street is let us stay alive together. Earlier on we talked about Gambari's appointment, and we finalized that we would wait and see his achievements, or rather what he's going to do in his position as the chief of staff. And now we're over to the COVID-19 updates. Globally, the news updates we have is that India's confirmed number of infections overtook that of China's tally despite a strict nationwide lockdown. India's coronavirus cases surpassed China, with the health ministry reporting 85,940 infections and 2,752 deaths. Now, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi's government, is due to announce this weekend a decision whether to extend the country's 54-day lockdown. Now, India has been on a lockdown for 54 days, and right now they have 85,940 cases, confirmed cases of COVID-19 despite their lockdown. Now, Brazil has, of course, posted another daily record for coronavirus as the Minister of Health has resigned after less than a month on the job. The United States has also approved a $3 trillion relief bill, but it has no chance of passing the Republican-controlled Senate. Now, globally, the update we have is more than 4.5 million people have been affected, and more than 307,000 have died from COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins University. Now, about 1.6 million people have recovered. Now, back here in Nigeria, as at 11:47 p.m. May 15, 2020, that was on Friday yesterday, the NCDC confirmed 288 new cases of COVID-19. And unfortunately, here in Lagos, we're once again topping the chart as we had 179 cases out of the 288 new cases we had yesterday on Friday. So far, in total, we have 5,445 cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The number of discharged people, we have 1,320. The number of deaths, 171. And in Lagos here, let's take an update. Confirmed cases, we have 2,099. Recovered cases, we have 541 and 33 deaths. If we look at the whole chart carefully, we will see that the deaths are increasing, the number of people discharged are increasing, and the cases are increasing. So we're having lots of increase on all cases, and the number of deaths is 171. And due to the rising number of cases, the rising number of deaths, we have seen lots of countries looking for how to get a cure or a vaccine or something that could release the tensions of the virus. And we know a country that was in Madagascar saying that they have a sort of cure, and they call it COVID organics. And President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the airlifting of Nigeria's allocation of the Madagascar syrup reportedly effective for the COVID-19 treatment. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, disclosed this on Monday in Abuja at the 29th Joint National Briefing of the Task Force. Now, the Madagascar President, Andre Rajoelina, had 3 weeks ago officially launched a locally produced medicine he believes can prevent and cure patients suffering from COVID-19 ailment. The drug was developed by the Malagasy Institute of Applied Research and branded COVID Organics. Now, let's take a look at that package there. We see lots of people from Madagascar talking about how this COVID Organics has cured them. We'll take that clip and we'll be right back after this break.
Just in front of the town hall in Antananarivo, Robert is impatient. Like these Madagascans, he queued up to receive free COVID Organics, a herbal tea made from Artemisia. 250 liters of this herbal tea are distributed every day. Robert and everyone here is convinced that this drink will protect them against the new coronavirus. And he says, thanks to this remedy, it is Madagascar that will save the whole world who think they are smarter, richer and more knowledgeable than us. Madagascar will have the most knowledge in the fight against coronavirus and the whole world will turn to us. President Andre Rajoelina said COVID Organics is the remedy that can prevent and cure coronavirus. Tans Mena, a famous Malagasy singer, contracted the virus during her last tour in France. After a week of treatment, the singer was treated with COVID Organics. And she says, I had the flu and a sore throat. I also had aches, loss of taste and smell, headache. I always felt tired. I followed the treatment with COVID Organics. I wanted to know if it will save me. And it worked on me because I'm now healed. According to the presidency,
Welcome back. It's still Editors Forum, exclusive to Galaxy Television. We saw there in Madagascar, a particular singer saying that she had been cured of the virus due to the COVID Organics that Madagascar brought. And even the president has said that he had cured a lot of people. So far, Madagascar has had no death case in the country. But still, the World Health Organization has said that it has not verified it as the cure for coronavirus. So far, from the WHO, there is no cure, there is no vaccine yet for the coronavirus. Meanwhile, they said the plant they said the drug, according to the media, contains Artemisia, a plant cultivated in the country to fight against malaria. And Nigeria has so far imported this drug. And the federal government said it did not beg Madagascar to supply its COVID-19 syrup to Nigeria, but explaining that the East African country donated the elixir to Nigeria and it accepted it in the spirit of African brotherhood. But the PTF, the Presidential Task Force, has said that before it will be tested, they would have to go through it with clinical trials before testing it on Nigerians. But the question a lot of people have been asking is, while we are importing a drug, or rather accepting the good offer that Madagascar has brought to us, some people have actually said they have a cure for this virus, and yet the federal government, Nigerian government, has not invested in this. Dio Khalidi, do you have any issue with that? Quickly, please.
You see, the issue of this coronavirus, you know, the other time I said COVID-19 or COVID-419.
Yes.
Why I was saying that is this. To me, it has become somehow paradoxical.
Okay.
To the extent that sometimes when it tilts to the right, it comes back to tilt to the left. And the issue is this. On my page, I posted what happened with our High Chief, Raymond Dopesi, the interview he granted as regards the treatment and his own observation. Somebody now came, he made a comment. Well, he made that comment, I said, but then, why are some people now using it to make some money, this and that? Somebody now told me, why are you making up your mind on? I said, no. I now went back to read what that guy has written again, which still goes with what I have responded. I mean, my response to him. What was he saying? COVID-19 has a kind of characteristic like that of malaria. Okay? Now, when one contacts COVID-19, it also exhibits the symptoms
like you're having malaria.
Of malaria. But then, his name is Medics. So that means he's into medical, whatever. He calls himself Medics on Facebook. But now, he now made me to understand, okay, look, when this thing now enters somebody's body, it will fight the immune system. To that extent, some other microbes will now be entering that person's body, of which malaria parasites will become so high. That is a very cogent point of view, okay? But there's another point of view, that there are some people that have gone to laboratories, well-known laboratories, and they find out that, look, they have high level of malaria parasites in them. But before you know it, they will say they are having COVID-19. Again, just yesterday, and that was the one that ever baffles me most, just yesterday, a friend of mine was telling me that his friend told him that when they were to go and collect their father's corpse at a particular government hospital, don't let me mention it, okay, at a particular government hospital, that they were told that they have to sign that that person died of COVID-19, of which he did not die of COVID-19. There was another receipt given from another government hospital that the person writing that receipt said, look, before we can give you this treatment, on your receipt we write COVID-19 number so. Do you get? So it's now making the whole thing to look paradoxical. Look at our government too. You will remember, Airpeace went to South Africa free of charge to bring Nigerians that are being humiliated there to Nigeria, free of charge. This same Airpeace went to China to go and bring 15 doctors that today we don't know where they are, and the Minister of Health said we should not ask him. Now, when we were to now bring our Nigerians from other areas, they now went to seek the services of Ethiopia Airlines and another one from the Middle East. And those people were charging ×2. Now, when they were now going to ask this same airline, Airpeace, to go to Canada, they are now saying, no, you are not a clinical. But this is an emergency period. This guy has aircraft that can go long haul. Do you understand what I'm saying? So why are they now putting encumbrances on that area? So when you now put all these things together, it makes, because I don't want us to always be feeding our listeners with wrong information. So when you now look at these two areas, it makes someone to look at it, for goodness sake, are some people now trying to make money from this pandemic? They're now looking at it that, okay, is this pandemic real? Well, to me, it's real. All right, because even in America, in Europe, where they don't have instances of malaria, they still test some people there that are positive.
Okay, so now you're saying that in your own belief, COVID-19 is real, but there are some people still trying to make money from this.
Sure, some people are not making us to see the real thing, so as to know how to tackle it.
Okay, let's still go back to
They call it
of this COVID organics from Madagascar, and why we're not looking inwards.
You see, WHO, in fact, has, to a very large extent, as far as I'm concerned, reduced their stature with me.
Why?
To the extent that when this thing is from Africa, you are not recognizing it. You don't even want, what is stopping you since all these days to have taken that thing and then let it go through clinicals, and then say, okay, this is the findings. Why? These guys are saying this thing has killed us. Nobody is dying there. There was even a news I read on the social media yesterday. I even Googled it. I saw it that WHO was trying to bribe the president of Madagascar with $200 million or so to poison some of these things, give to some people so that they will say, do you understand? These are stories that we are hearing. And then WHO too is now playing to such a gallery. Nothing stops WHO. It should really belong that you are World Health Organization. Wherever it's coming from. Are you saying because Madagascar is just a mere highland, it's not from America, it's not from Canada, that they cannot have a cure? It's even a pity that our own Ministry of Health has not over 3 weeks or so now decide to invest in University of Ibadan. That said, look, we have gotten that cure, and they have been talking about it. It's even a shame that they have not even called Professor Murusiwu to bring along what he said he has for us to see, so that Nigerians' name too can be in the map of inventors.
Okay.
So to me, what WHO is doing is not palatable.
All right.
Let us patronize Madagascar. We are all Africans. This time around, Africa must emerge.
Okay, let's hear from you.
While a kid, I've known that herbs has answers to every ailment. I blame the system here. If we had a good system, nobody would take advantage of the situation we're having right now. In our budget, certain amount of monies are marked for research. But recently, money that was given to universities for research, 80% of the money was used in buying vehicles, while only 20% was for research. That is just pity, and our story here. What stops from African countries having African Health Organization than World Health Organization? So it becomes a failure from African leaders to actually have an organization that will really conduct research into some of these herbs. Botanically, every herb cures malaria and other ailments. Okay? But what happens is that science, like my lecturer will always tell me, that has failed us. Yes, science has failed us because certain parameters are not gotten from science. But in African research, you get it. There are certain things you cannot get from science, but African methodology has answers.
Mythology, right?
Okay, yeah. So the issue here is the system we are operating doesn't actually give rise to answers to using botanical ways. Otherwise, at this point, we're not supposed to lean on the other sides. No, we're supposed to look inward, get answers within, and begin to treat ourselves. So, but what are we getting now? What we are still getting is the same help we've been yearning for when we have little issues around us. So we don't actually believe in what we have within. Otherwise, we would have set up a research institute that will look into many of these things, because we have answers to this. Let me tell you, recently, HIV, we heard of HIV, was ravaging at a point. Do you know how it died down? We have herbs for it. Botanically, you take it, you get well. But what happens? We don't want to promote our persons. We don't want to promote our individuals. We don't want this person to be the person to be named after it. We you know, so that there will be ways and means to siphon the resources sunk into this. Totally this is is an aberration on the part of we Nigerians and Africans.
So in other words, Nigeria now should begin to invest more in this
on research. USC, but UCH Ibadan, recently one of the lecturers said, I have answers to all this.
Now, according to reports we had from according to reports we had from NAFDAC, she said that there has actually been nobody who has come forward. There's only one person, and even what they have is treatment for the symptoms, but not necessarily the virus. They can treat the symptoms, which is cold, cough, and the rest, but not necessarily a cure for the virus.
Do you know the problem we have? The problem we have is, I'm covered by the blood of Jesus. Do you understand? And that is actually what is dipping us into this. If somebody is sick, like in the villages, we have old men and women who never tested orthodox medicines. They never. All they've taken all through their life is herbs, and those herbs have all helped them to the stage where they are now. No kind of sickness they've never been prone to, and no kind of illness they've never been subdued by using this botanical.
So we should go back to our roots now.
Very well. So let's begin to tilt to local content. Let's begin to look inward. Let's begin to, do you know, in Nigeria we have herbicide group, what do they call them? Association of
practitioners.
Who have you called these people? Do you know they can do wonders here? Yes, this group can do wonders here. Sink some money into their hands and give them instruction to come up with a solution to this. And I tell you, in no distant time, we will have solution to this.
All right, thank you very much, Ziggy. But sorry, we're really far away from time. I know you have lots of things to give, but right from your resolutions and what I could take that you people have said is, while we're appreciating the whole scientific and technological advancement in drugs, let's still go back to our roots and look at traditional methods to find
and promote local content.
Promote local content, and the Nigerian government should look inwards into supporting or rather funding local research for the cure of this virus. Now we have one here, a message said, must we wait for WHO approval before someone can get saved? Please let the Nigerian government try this Madagascar organics and save Nigerians from COVID-19. Okay, we have another, that was from Pastor Oladuni. We also have another message here. Well, okay, I think I'll get back to that. But still on the issue of the COVID-19, back here in Lagos, we know that Lagos is really topping the charts there for COVID-19 cases. And while we're topping the chart for the cases, we're also topping the chart for people who have been discharged. I think we can give credit to the Lagos State Ministry of Health. But during the week, there was a fierce contest and intense criticisms on social media that showed the Lagos State online public opinion poll on another lockdown. We would recall that on April 29th, the President Muhammadu Buhari allowed for a gradual easing of the lockdown within the first phase. So he said from May 4th, we'll look at 2 weeks and take the first phase of the lockdown ease, allow people to come out, essential businesses, your working hours will be, you close early, and there'll be a curfew and all that, use of face masks, social distancing. Both the federal government, the presidential task force also, and even the Lagos State government had complained that a lot of people violated the social distancing orders, and that has created a lot of controversies on whether we should go back to the former lockdown stance despite the economic effects, or whether we should actually continue with this lockdown ease. But there's still a question people ask, that was there even ever really a total lockdown in Nigeria? And is it even substantial in Lagos? Is it achievable? Dayo Kade, quickly, as we are really far to time.
You see, I think it was on this same platform when President Muhammadu Buhari gave a speech as regards the easing of the lockdown. Yeah. And I gave the instance of what happened in Marseille. You remember?
Yes, yes,
what
you
happened
did, yes.
in Marseille and all that. And I also made mention that very day that, look, when you give human beings a space, they will take 2, 3. All right? And that is exactly what we are trying to see. You see, the lockdown would have been effective if only some people had stood up to their responsibilities. If they have not abdicated their responsibility to the people. All right? Look at how much money have been sunk into this COVID-19 in Nigeria. Can any of them pinpoint where that money has gone to? The best thing for us in the first instance would have been total lockdown. But you have to add sustenance of the people.
That's palliatives.
Yes, of the people. Do you understand? Because without that, people will become so restless. And there is no way an hungry man will be a happy man. You will prefer to gamble with COVID-19 rather than to die in the house of hunger. So for me, okay, look at how the thing has been rising now. For me, I will still suggest total lockdown, but there has to be palliative to the people.
Okay, let's hear Ziggy Ibe. Ziggy Ibe, lockdown or no lockdown?
Locking down the country is not shutting down the country. Okay, there's a difference between when you lock down. That means there are still sizable movement and activities. But shut down means you are not allowed to come out of your house. Being that as it is, palliatives are not forthcoming to so many people. That is very evident. Okay, and that what we could have make sense of all this is when people are provided with what to eat. But is that possible that everybody will be provided for? Okay, so what I think could help here is when all the protocols are observed.
Like
they are very, very possible.
Is it normal, the safeguard procedures or what?
Yeah, what necessitated, what really gave rise to easing off of this lockdown was giving rules on what to do. Social distancing, wear your face mask, if you are in the company of one or two people, maintain a distance. Like
so you are advocating that there should be no lockdown, but rather people should just follow precautionary measures.
Yes, go to the market. I see whether it can be followed. Go to the market.
But I know that for the market, they're actually having a 1 day off. We have days for maybe technical appliances. So I think they're trying their best.
Yes, see,
very possible.
Listen, sir. As much as they are trying, as much as they
and people are actually observing it.
You know, I told you sometimes
it's not total.
I hunt for news. It's my hobby. I hunt for news. Do you understand? When this thing started last week, this easing off of a lockdown, you can go to the market, you can this, you can that. I saw people even carrying 3 passengers on Okada. Listen, I went to the market to see how people are doing the market. I went to shops where they are selling food that they said they should be doing takeaway. He said, yeah, they are not even doing takeaway. You understand? We are Nigerians. That's what I'm saying.
We are Nigerians.
One step.
We are not law-abiding people.
But do you think the reason why you are doing that is because maybe the federal government has failed on their part?
No, let me give you. Let me tell you this. Most people were asked not to carry beyond 60% capacity. The initial week, they did not observe that. But when they were clamped down, what happened now? They started observing it. Do you understand? What Nigerians need a move,
how long can we continue?
Nigeria need a push to actually observe certain laws. We are not law-abiding people. That's the truth of the matter. But the issue is that we keep talking. And because if this country is locked down, government is losing, individuals are losing. And this might not be the total answer to what we are seeing now.
And incidences will be increasing.
Okay, my name is Adua. Please, we don't want another lockdown. Things are hard. And even with the lockdown, we see that the issues we had with or without the lockdown are still there. We still have a shortage of reagents, still not enough testing. They keep on promising testing.
Then the Madagascar thing should come quickly.
So that we can
have a test of it.
And even while people are using face masks, we're still seeing people wrongly using the face masks. We still have transportation.
They even use one face mask for days. Please. That is even the worst one.
Please, I beg you, let's still the main key.
You can use a washable type. A washable type, yes.
Please make sure you don't use
the other filmy type.
Use it for 3 days.
You know?
Please. One day you wash it, and if you're using the disposable one, please, those disposable ones, please dispose it. Don't use it again. If you're using the reusable as the one for Ankara and the rest, please make sure you wash it. Personal hygiene is necessary, is important. Clean your surfaces regularly, and please maintain a good personal hygiene. Meanwhile, there's still controversies on the fact that churches and mosques are open in the north, and people are afraid that this might cause a bigger pandemic. But still, all the same, this is where we'll draw the curtains for today's edition of Editors Forum. Thank you very much, Dio Kaude, Ziggy Ibe, and of course to my beloved audience. Please, the key word, the watchword is please stay safe, maintain personal hygiene. Let's all stay safe and alive together. So do join us same time, same station next week, God willing, for another edition of Editors Forum. God bless Nigeria and stay safe.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.